Living the life. Living the life.
Now, you're probably seeing something right in front of me here. I've grown a lantern.
That's it. That's a beautiful lantern.
It's a beautiful
right
lantern
there,
that I've got here. And it is very, very exciting. I'll tell you why, because I'm about to introduce our special guest, because not only is he a muazzin and a qari, he's also a man of great inspiration. Please welcome to the show, Hassen Rasool.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, we've got so much to talk about with you, Sheikh, but let's start with the lantern, because it is such a beautiful lantern, and I notice you take it with you everywhere you go. Tell me about it. What's the significance of the lantern?
Yeah, I mean, look at it. It's rusting. And it's the same as our lives. It's withering away. But the light inside is what matters and what we're attracted to. And it's a reminder for us to nurture light within us and remember that our outer shells is just crumbling away before our eyes.
Wow, that's so powerful. And you can tell, because look, I mean, obviously more on this side, but you can see it's rusting away. And I guess that's the external. I mean, look, someone like me, look how much I've grayed over time. That's me. Well, the pair of us, quite clearly. Still got a very young Atif here.
Hey, well, moisturising.
That means the nur is both within and without.
Look at that. I mean, but talking about nur, I mean, even though, as you say, it's crumbling on the exterior and everything, it's quite beautiful. It's got a very kind of antique feel to it as well, I've got to say. How did you discover, how did you find this? And tell us the story about how you came across this lamp.
Yeah, I like ancient things. I like things from afar and the past, because something inside of us is always, we hear all these ancient stories, but we want a taste of it.
Of course.
At the moment it's on the shelves.
Yeah.
We need to remove them from the shelves and bring them into our lives. So that's these ancient memorabilia, if you like, or nostalgia.
Yeah.
We've got rich history with our past. The modern world, as advanced as it is, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
We've advanced, but we've retrogressed to such a alarming rate. That's why I feel that we need to find these little ways of getting back.
Definitely.
To our,
it's interesting you mentioned that about ancient and about looking back at some, and taking lessons from such items. And one thing I'm really excited about is we've actually got a copy of the Quran here. We're talking about ancient items here. A Quran which is over 100 years old.
It is, yes. I feel very blessed to have this in my possession. It's something I bought recently from an Englishman, and experts are saying it's more than 100 years old.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, you look at the cover, it's...
Where was this printed? Do you know which country it came from?
The person I bought it from was, he is an elderly Englishman who specializes in ancient manuscripts. And he said he got this in an auction somewhere in the Middle East. But if you look at, even like, you don't get them made like this anymore. There's
So there's like an illustration of, is that the Medina, Mosque of Medina, isn't it?
It's etchings of Makkah and Medina, but old school, like really old.
Let's just turn that into the
camera.
camera.
So if we could just point it this way, so we can share this. If you just angle it a little bit lower, so we can have a little look at the pictures.
And then you got this beautiful color bound,
There we go. There you go. Look, that's beautiful. It's so. There's just an illustration in the Quran. That's both the great masjids of Makkah and Medina, really, isn't it? It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
And there is a bit of history from it. And you've mentioned before that this Quran, because it's more than 100 years old and you procured it, it gives you great inspiration.
Well, I haven't said that.
Oh no, sorry. I imagine it gives you great inspiration.
Well, all Qur'ans give us inspiration. This very text is our inspiration for the very breathing, our daily lives. So. Yes, as personally, because I've mentioned about what makes me tick, the remembrance of the past, this is definitely something that's dear to my heart.
And do you find that there's an increase in people looking for kind of Islamic artifacts, Islamic history now? Do you think things are changing?
I think the West always had an obsession with Orientalism. I found this, like even when I dressed in my garbs, and I don't feel any sort of, trepidation or hesitation walking on the underground. Now I know some of our sisters or brothers with beards or very overtly they appear to be Muslim.
Sure.
But there's something inside of them that's, the lack of confidence of who they are.
Yeah.
But if you know the history, people used to marvel on the Sahaba.
Yeah.
And the people of the righteous people, right? So when I walk on the underground, it's what's inside. Like I said, what's inside of you to have the confidence that there's beauty, there's light, there's purity. And this is how I don't view you as a human being. I view you as a soul, and I believe that souls recognize this light. So much so on an underground, packed as it may be, people, you see, you're not doing it for them to marvel.
Sure.
Yeah.
You want to marvel. You see, if you're marveling at your Lord, then others may marvel at you.
Most certainly.
But that's not your prerogative, you see.
No, of course
You've got to be
not.
very careful and guard your intent.
Yeah. So talking about the tube, would you go on the tube with your lantern in hand?
I have.
You have?
Of course.
I think we've got some images of
Yeah,
you.
we do.
There
There
we
you
go.
are.
There
There you are.
There you
With
go.
your lantern. That's a train station, I think. And where are you there?
That's Euston Station.
That's Euston Station. There's a huge crowd around you as well. I'm sure people kind of come up to you, ask you questions. How do you respond to people when they're like, oh, so what's going on? What do people... So non-Muslims, I imagine, right? Especially because, being based in London. Non-Muslims must approach you all the time. It must be quite... It's a peculiar sight for them, I imagine, right? Because obviously, traveling on the underground, I see Muslim people in Muslim attire all the time. Don't think twice about it. But I imagine for an outsider or a Western person or a non-Muslim person to see somebody in the attire and with this beautiful lamp, how do people speak to you? What do you kind of frequently hear from people?
It's more intrigue and it's more a smile.
How does that manifest itself?
Oh, it's the visual, delight that makes them go. It's a change from the mundane. So if it was something opposite to this, something not beautiful.
Sure.
Remember, we like to to go towards beauty. But if it was something opposite, then you might get the opposite reaction.
Sure.
But like I said, what they're seeing and feeling. See, I'm not so interested in what you see or what anyone sees. It's what you feel. Because the more you see, the less you feel. The more you feel, in fact, you'll see nothing.
So when people have come up and spoken to you, what kind of things do they say to you?
Did you get that?
I did. I'm trying to register it, actually.
No, but once you do register that.
The more you feel, the less you see, is what you said.
Correct, because what we see around you, it dictates our day.
Okay.
Because everything, we got an opinion about something, we criticize everything,
Sure.
Everything's an issue.
God, that sounds like me. I'll tell you that right now, yeah.
But if you move all that aside, move it aside and feel, because it's just you and your Lord. It's who you're going to end up with and where you came from, right, as a soul. So let that be in tune. Let that be in tune, and then everything's a beautiful rhythm.
Yeah. Absolutely. MashaAllah. But so again, you're in the station, you're holding your lantern. No doubt people come up to you and they're saying, okay, they're asking, what kind of questions do they ask you?
This is England. People are very respectful. You know.
But you must get people I mean, people are respectful generally.
Well, I'll be fair. There was a cabbie, a London taxi driver who, when I got off the car, he says, "Who are you?" And he said, "Oh, what is that lamp?" And I explained to him, and he was like, "Whoa, can I get your number?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine."
That's an unusual response for sure.
But what's interesting, he chose not to charge me for the cab.
Wow. Do you know that's the rarest of things in London, right? A free cab ride.
Yeah.
But that's extraordinary. So what did you converse with him about that made him feel so incredibly generous, really? Because that's not. Again, I don't mean to stereotype any taxi drivers out there. I respect you guys immensely, but you don't get free rides very often. No. So what was the connection?
The connection was not verbally. It was the aura, the sense. See, even in a dark room, if you light a match, you'll still see, it may be a small piece of light, but you'll still see the light. In the same way, when we try to manifest beauty and light, even a cabbie will recognize this. That's so much so, his money doesn't mean anything to him. He wants more of that. And where does this come from? This comes from the love for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for our Creator, and everything that's beautiful. You see, now we sense, can you sense it?
Yes, absolutely.
This is what we need to get back to. The old, the ancient,
Absolutely.
in the modern.
One of the things that kind of brought you to prominence with the UK was obviously your work last year, a couple of Ramadans ago on Channel 4, where you were doing the azan, which was, I imagine, quite the honour.
It was, that was that. But we need more.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
See, that's the call to Allah and His religion. On one channel, big deal. Let's move on and get on to more channels, because channeling.
I love it, wordplay. Yeah.
Right? It's about, that's our prerogative, is to channel goodness. So one channel, any more channels? You know, let's do more. We are the mainstream, actually. It's not about, you know, there's this misconception the mainstream and whatever other independent stream. No. Everyone has a playing field, okay? And we need to get a piece of that, because we got some beauty to bring to the table.
No, certainly.
And I see, mashallah, your recitation, mashallah. I mean, well, I'm trying to think how many years I've known you and how many times I've heard that beautiful recitation. I still remember the first time we met, actually, with your recitation, mashallah. But which out of all the places you performed, because I know you've performed in some amazing places, whether it be Royal Albert Hall, whether it was at Eton College, what was the highlight for you? Which is the one place that you enjoyed the most?
You know, there are moments in privacy which I don't want that moment to end. Those are the moments which you can't measure, you can't capture. They're just blissful moments. And I try and take that with me into a public scenario. Okay, because I think the responsibility, the earnest is on the reciter to impart this divine word in the best possible way. And I feel strongly it's got a lot of hard work to do behind the scenes rather than just 10 minutes on stage.
That's a lot of responsibility as well, what you're describing, because, you know, as you're saying, this is, you know, something you're trying to transmit, but it's divine, it's beyond all of us, obviously. But you've got the responsibility to purvey this.
Well, we all do.
Yes, of
because
course.
we all do in different ways.
Of course.
Because your smile and your mannerisms with people, that's Quran. You see, the way you treat your wife, that's Quran. The way you handle and you are kind to your children, this is Quran. The way you are with your boss and your colleagues and the trust, this is Quran. Quran is this. So it's not just the recitation.
No, of course not.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, we're talking about recitations. It would just be wonderful if we could get you to recite a little piece for us. Would you be so kind?
Of course.
Oh, wonderful. There we go. So this is what we were already hoping to hear, a little bit of recitation. Please, if you would. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ما كان محمد أبا أحد من رجالكم ولكن رسول الله وخاتم النبيين وكان الله بكل شيء عليما صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah, wow.
Living the life. Living the life. Living the life.